moves in my heart, I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till Jesus comes. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves.
This happened to our sisters during the slave trade. Now, we're even on the boats. When they were getting on the boats, the sailors slept with them and impregnated them and raped them. This happened throughout our history. These so-called great presidents of this United States did the same exact thing. George Washington, the father of this country, did the same exact thing. Thomas Jefferson, one of the great founders of this country, did the same exact thing. It says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. When I say they did that so-called thing, they slept with their slave maidens. They slept with their slaves. That's what they did, and had children with them. That's what they did. You look at all the mulattoes and the variations of color within our people. Well, how did we get that way? It's through the slave master. But many of our people and our sisters weren't agreeing to a lot of that. See, when you were a slave, you were owned in every way, including your sexuality was owned. The sexuality of the male slave was feared, and it was either feared because that great fear was that you would sleep with the mistress of the house, or in another way, it was used because, hey, we were breeded like animals. So it said, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build in a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Brothers and sisters, we built the South. We built this country. We built the actual literal White House. And yet we have not prospered from all our toils and labors. Picked billions of tons of cotton, still have not prospered. It says, you're going to build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. So we built the big houses on the plantations in Mississippi and Alabama, Louisiana, and yet we didn't live in them. We lived out in the slave quarters. We lived out in the slave quarters, barely clothed and suffering. That's what we did. We even built places all throughout the western parts of this United States and the northern parts of this United States. We built the country, made it great. So it says, thou shalt plant a vineyard and shalt not gather the grapes therein. Brothers and sisters, or thereof, brothers and sisters, we were what the agricultural base of this country was all about. Our free labor built this country and made it great. Think about it, brothers and sisters. If you sit at home and you have 5 people who work every day and they bring home their check to you, you're going to have some money. That's exactly what happened to us. Millions of us as a people, as slaves. Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fare with longing from them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Brothers and sisters, that's what happened on the auction blocks, where they sold us like cattle. Slaves, families were dismembered. They were cut asunder. You can imagine the grief of a mother who looks at her child being taken away from her and sold deep down south. So it said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand, nothing you could do. Because if you resisted, they would kill you. They would kill you. See, this is what we experienced. But let's go to the 36th verse. It said, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Brothers and sisters, this happened to us when Nebuchadnezzar killed the last king. The last king, he poked out his eye. He killed his sons and poked out his eyes. That was the end of kings for us. Okay? Zedekiah, that was the last one. See, brothers and sisters, we had kings. And I'm not talking about some Egyptian pharaohs, because we are not Egyptians. I'm talking about actual kings of Israel. King David, a great king. King Solomon, Asa, Jehoshaphat. Those are our kings. So it says, thy Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Again, we serve these false gods in Babylon. We served when the Babylonians conquered us, and when the Assyrians conquered us, and when the Egyptians conquered us, and when the Romans conquered us. And we serve these false gods today in the lands in which we dwell, even until this day. The gods of wood and stone, the gods of Easter and Christmas. the gods of Sunday worship, the gods of false religion. We've gone after these gods wholesale and have not even gave one thought to our God, the God of Israel, the God of our forefathers. So it says in verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. And that's what we have. You nigger, you coon. That's what we are. Bywords. You black, Negro, nigger. Again, bywords. Those are colors. Black is a color. Negro is a color. They used to actually call us color. Brothers and sisters, those are not names that actually define a people. Those describe your skin tone. A people are actually described when they are genuinely described by the land in which they dwell, or the land of their origin. Brothers and sisters, there is no colored land, no Negro land, no black land. Even when you call us a so-called African American, brothers and sisters, Africa is a continent with over 50 countries. You have to be definitive of which one you're from. People from Europe, they know, a person from France say, I am a Frenchman, I am from France. A German will say, I am from Germany. They don't say I'm from Europe. They have a land of origin. We have a land of origin. And brothers and sisters, it is Israel. It is Israel. We came from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade, but how did we get there? We got there after the ransacking of Jerusalem. That's when the rest of us, because we have been scattered prior to that, but the rest of us moved into Africa. And while we were in Africa, we settled amongst the people throughout African lands. But the African or the Hamitic people knew that we were not of their people. And so when the transatlantic slave trade, we were more susceptible than anybody else to being cast into slavery. And that's how we got there. And so now people will say, you from Africa. But brothers and sisters, no, you are not an African. Even an African will come over here and call you a nigger. See, we are not African. And you know that because of the curses that were placed on Israel. If you fit those curses, you need to ask yourself the question, who am I? So verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all the nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. Wherever you at, you are a byword and a proverb. People are disgusted by you. You move in their neighborhood, and next thing you know, you got for sale signs going up. But we don't have any sense. We keep following. Verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. So what does that mean? Is that literal locust? Now, brothers and sisters, this is basically the locust representing destruction of everything you had. All your work, all your toil, all your labor, whatever you did with your hands didn't amount to much. People call us lazy. How you lazy and you built a country? Has nothing to do with you being lazy, brothers and sisters. Look at them. You can see other people come to this country, and in the 2 generations, they have money and are well sustained. But you, on the other hand, can't do the same thing. Why? It's not because of inferiority, rather it's because of these curses. Let's skip down. Let's skip down to verse 41. It says, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Again, there's that captivity. Your sons and your daughters will go into captivity. If you fit this curse, see the Holocaust, the Holocaust that is described, that occurred during World War II, as terrible and as wicked as that was, that's not the prophecy concerning to what was going to happen to Israel. The transatlantic slave trade, that Holocaust, where you had some estimates 20, some estimates as high as 100 million, that's the prophecy that was prophesied of, that was going to take place against Israel. So verse 45 reads, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Why? It says, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. This is why we found ourselves in slavery. This is why we suffered all those years of Jim Crow. This is why we suffer even until this day, filling up the prisons, economic depravity in the urban ghettos of this country. Yeah, we have our Tiger Woods and so forth, the so-called talented tip, but when it's all said and done, the masses of our people are still on the bottom. That's why